Got something a little different today, and hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. This is a piece of walnut. It's about 7 inches long and 3 inches square. It's not going to stay square much longer. I'm going to turn it into a cylinder, and then we're going to make a multi-axis turning out of this. So this will actually be turned from 4 different axes. So I was going to do one of these a couple years ago and never did. Recently I watched Billy Burt make one, and I thought, well, you know what, I guess it's time I go ahead and make one. So thank you, Billy, for inspiring me. And we're going to get this mounted up between centers, and then the tricky part begins, and I'll show you some of that once we get it turned into a cylinder. Be right back. Alright, I've got it between the centers. We're doing about 980 RPM. I'm going to use the spindle roughing gouge and see if we can just make a cylinder out of this to start with. So I'll try not to bore you on this, but this is the kind of stuff I really like. I used it a lot at work, and I really enjoyed doing it. I like the mathematics of it. So in order to get this broken into 3 equal spots, there's a formula. It's the diameter times the sine of half the angle. So this is 120, so half of the angle is 60. The sine of 60 times the diameter gave me the chord length. That's what we're working with, the chord length. And things that I had to make had to be really accurate. You can do it with a set of dividers by walking them around, but I really like doing it that way just because I like doing it. So I'm going to mount this up. I've got centers on this end, but on this end they're closer in. That's going to give us a taper. Let me get this all mounted up and you can watch how wobbly it's going to be. Okay, I've got it into the holes that are marked number 1. One on this end, one on that end. The next one will be 2 and 2 and 3 and 3. These are the lines that line up with where the holes are at. Got a little bit of a wobble. So let's just take some cuts on here and see if it works. Well, that's a pretty nice cut there. I just don't know how this is going to work for sanding. I'm going to try it. This is 100 grit. The wood's fairly soft. But I have another idea if this doesn't want to work. Got the lathe running in reverse. This worked pretty good. I changed this up to 220, and then I decided to get my finish sander out and put some 320 on it, and it removed all the lines that were put on with the disc sander. And that was real easy. Okay, I think I'll flip it up on another axis and see how this blends. Little preview in the process here. This is what I just did. You can see that this looks very round. Well, that's round as well. It's just pushed down into here, and we're not seeing the walls continue because they would be clear out here. And that same thing happens on this side. This was number 1. This is number 2. I have it marked, but if I didn't, I'd just follow it down here and find that hole and use it. And I have that marked number 2. Let's go ahead and put that in and see what happens to the shape. Okay, that looks like it's in there, and it feels like it's in there. Okay, we'll move this up and we'll do another cut. And let's see what I have left for witnesses. I have I have this, and I have this here. So I need to flatten that out until I touch those lines. Okay, I get my face seal. 758 RPM. Okay, I've got it in the last setup. I'll go back to the bigger spindle roughing gouge, and I've got a line here, I got a line right there, the same thing on this side. Those are the lines that I'm shooting for. Okay, that is pretty much there, except for that little curl on the end. I'll try to adjust the tool rest to match that little slope I have. Okay, let's cut some more here. And right here. I sanded to 220 using a 2-inch disc, and now I'm using the finish sander with 320. Okay. And then I got to figure out what we're going to use it for. I think it's going to be some kind of a vase. I don't know what's going to be the top, I don't know what's going to be the bottom, but I'll be back when I figure that out. I think I'll cut a tenon on this end because I've decided I want this to be the top, and I'll need to grab it with the chuck and get a hole in there. So I put the chuck back on. I've got a hold of the tenon that I made at the 1.5 inch. Let's see how it works. About 300 RPM. Well, this is my drill bit extender. It's a piece of aluminum rod, 3/4 diameter. These Forstner bits have a 3/8 diameter on the ends of them, so I drilled that hole into here. I'm only going to drill down to about right there. That's as far as I want to go. I've already put some of it in before I put the extension on. right about there. So I drilled it to within a 1/2 inch of the bottom, and I decided to go with an 1 5/8 bit. I went and looked at my little sketch, and it told me that we should have stock. Well, you can see that I barely have a quarter here, and we have a taper. So my calculation said I should have about 1/8, and I do. So I was taking a chance, but it worked. I'm going to clean the top up. I'm going to bevel it downwards and then put a little round on it. And I think we're then ready to get a finish on this. All right, that's it. I'll do a little sanding here, and we'll have to cut that tenor off, and then I think I'll put the finish on once I do that. Got a little jam chuck here, and I put some tissue in there just to kind of tighten it up. 700 RPM just to start. As I sit here editing the video, I can notice a lot of stuff on the floor. You'll have to excuse that mess. I've been really busy scrambling just to get the video done. We lost power and I have a lot of other things going on, and hopefully I can get that picked up and it won't look so cluttered. Okay, I just got a little bit of sanding right here to do. And I'm going to set it up, and I think I'll spray lacquer on it. That might be tomorrow. I'm getting ready to put the finish on it, and it does look like it has some on there, and that's because it does. I think it was 2 days ago I sprayed a coat of Def Lacquer on it. End of the day I brought the SD card in the house, put the files in the appropriate folder. I can't find that file, so you didn't get to see it go on in bare wood. If I can find it, I'll insert it in there, but I will show you how I put this on. And I do use Def Lacquer, and I love it. And I'm not sponsored. I'm not getting paid anything to say it. I first used Def Lacquer 60 years ago in a high school woodshop class. Been using it ever since. So this is what it looked like a couple days ago on bare wood. Alright, well that's what it looked like when I sprayed it on bare wood. And if I can find that file, I'll insert it in there. But I don't think I'm going to spend any more time looking for it because I have everything else. I'll let this dry. Probably get maybe 3 more coats on. And I'll be back and show you what it looks like when we're all done. Well, here it is. It's all done. And what a beautiful piece of walnut this is. Just look at that grain. All 3 sides, and they're all just slightly different. And they would be, because it's looking at that piece of wood from a different angle. Fun to do. This end here, if I measured a circle on it, it'd be about 2 5/8, and this would be about 2 inches, and it's about 6.5 inches long. I finished it with about, I think it was 5 coats of the Def Lacquer sprayed on. I buffed it out in between each one with the Scotch-Brite, finishing with the white Scotch-Brite. And that left a really nice finish. So, like I say, this was going to be an easy one, and it wasn't that bad. And I think next week's will probably need to be easy as well. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like the video, do me a favor. Click that like button and feel free to leave a comment. Both of those things will really help my channel grow. I do lots of different types of turnings, and you never know what might be next. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And a special thanks to all my current subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. So, till the next time, see you later.